The old warship U.S. Intrepid floated quietly in the distant parts of the Arcturus system. Once bright and shiny, its hull now showed many scars from space rocks and dust after hundreds of years in space. Built over 300 years ago as humanity's first real space warship, it had become forgotten. First, people made it a museum. Then they used it for storage. Finally, they left it alone as newer, better ships took over. Only basic computer programs kept its simple systems running, a leftover from Earth's early days of space travel. Lieutenant Jack Howard looked at the aging ship through the window of his small patrol vessel. He made this trip every week to check on the Intrepid, usually just marking it off his list of duties without much thought. Today felt strange, though. The Galactic Union had been pushing into new territories more and more, and things were getting tense between them and humans. "Just an old piece of junk," said Officer Peter Clark, standing beside Jack. "Don't know why we still bother checking on it." Jack shrugged. "Orders are orders. Besides, there's something about her that I like." Their patrol ship moved slowly around the massive old warship. Even after centuries, the Intrepid was impressive in size. At nearly 2 kilometers long, it dwarfed their modern patrol vessel. "Can you imagine fighting in something like that?" Jack asked. "Those early space sailors had guts." Peter laughed. "They had to compensate for bad technology with big ships. Our new destroyers could take this thing out without breaking a sweat." Jack wasn't so sure. He had read old files about the Intrepid during his academy days. The ship had been built during a time of great fear and uncertainty. Earth had just learned about alien life and rushed to build defenses. The Intrepid was created with experimental weapons that some people thought were too dangerous. Soon after, peaceful contact happened, and the ship became unnecessary. "Taking us in for closer readings," Jack said, guiding their ship toward a large docking bay that hadn't opened in decades. Their sensors beeped as they passed near the hull. "That's weird," Peter said, checking the screens. "I'm picking up power fluctuations." Jack frowned. "That shouldn't be happening. The maintenance protocols only keep life support and basic systems running in the command center." "Well, something's active in the lower decks. Could be a system malfunction." Jack made a quick decision. "Let's dock and check it out. If the old girl is having problems, we should know about it." Peter looked nervous. "Regulations say we should report it and wait for a maintenance crew." "It will take them days to get out here," Jack replied. "We're already here. We'll just take a quick look." Their small ship entered the massive docking bay, landing gently on the dusty floor. The bay automatically pressurized, an unexpected function that made both men look at each other with concern. "See, the ship is more awake than it should be," Jack said, putting on his standard-issue sidearm. They exited their vessel and stepped onto the Intrepid for the first time. The air was stale but breathable. Emergency lights glowed dimly along the corridors, casting long shadows. "Hello," Jack called out, his voice echoing through the empty halls. No answer came, but both men could feel it. The slight vibration in the floor, the soft hum of machinery that hadn't run in centuries. Something deep within the Intrepid was waking up. "We should find the source of those power readings," Jack said, checking his handheld scanner. "They're coming from engineering, 20 decks below us." As they moved deeper into the ship, neither man noticed the security cameras following their movement, nor the ancient computer systems slowly coming to life after centuries of waiting. Jack and Peter walked through the dark hallways of the Intrepid. Their footsteps echoed on the metal floors. The deeper they went into the ship, the more systems seemed to be active. Lights turned on as they approached and turned off after they passed. "This isn't normal," Peter whispered. "Maintenance protocols shouldn't be this responsive." Jack nodded, checking his scanner again. "The power signatures are getting stronger. Whatever's happening, it's centered in the main engine room." They reached an elevator that, surprisingly, still worked. As they stepped inside, Jack pressed the button for the engineering deck. The elevator hummed to life and began to descend. "Did you hear that?" Peter asked suddenly. Hear what? I thought I heard voices. The elevator stopped at the engineering deck, and the doors slid open. The massive engine room stretched before them, filled with equipment that hadn't been used in centuries. Unlike the upper decks, this area was fully lit. Displays and control panels blinked with activity. This is impossible, Jack said, looking around in amazement. The ship is supposed to be in hibernation mode. They moved cautiously through the room, checking the various stations. Jack stopped at a main console that showed ship diagnostics. According to the display, the Intrepid was running at 42% power and increasing. Someone's activated the restart sequence, Jack said. But who? We're the only ones here. At that moment, a loud alarm sounded throughout the ship. Red warning lights began to flash. Warning, announced a female computer voice. Unknown vessels detected entering the Arcturus system. Hostile intent confirmed. Defensive protocols activated. The floor beneath them vibrated as ancient machinery roared to life. Screens around the engine room lit up with tactical displays, showing 5 unidentified ships entering the system. What's happening? Peter asked, his voice rising with panic. Before Jack could answer, a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed an older man in an outdated military uniform. Automated message playing, the hologram stated. I am Admiral Henry Quinn, Earth Defense Force. If you are viewing this message, the Intrepid has detected a Level 1 threat to humanity. This vessel contains experimental weapons and defensive systems deemed too powerful for regular deployment. The ship is now activating its autonomous defense protocols. Jack and Peter looked at each other in shock. We need to contact headquarters, Peter said urgently. Jack tried his communicator, but only static came through. Communications are being jammed. It must be those ships. Outside the Intrepid, 5 sleek alien vessels approached. They were Xelian warships, part of an advanced scouting force for their much larger fleet. The Xelians had been watching humans for decades, looking for an opportunity to test their defenses. Commander Vexnar of the lead Xelian ship looked at the old human vessel with amusement. What is that ancient construct? He asked his second-in-command. Our records show it is a decommissioned human warship, sir. It appears to be at least 3 centuries old. Vexnar laughed, a harsh clicking sound. Perfect. We will use it for target practice before we test the human colony defenses. Charge weapons. Back on the Intrepid, systems continued to come online. Weapon stations powered up, and the ship's engines began to warm. We need to take control, Jack said, moving to what appeared to be the main command console. If this ship starts firing on those alien vessels, it could start a war. As Jack tried to access the controls, the ship's AI spoke again. Unauthorized access detected. Initiating security protocols. Suddenly, force fields appeared around Jack and Peter, trapping them in place. Please stand by, the AI said. This vessel is now at battle stations. All non-essential personnel will be secured for their safety. Through the engineering bay windows, they saw the massive weapon ports on the Intrepid's hull begin to open, revealing cannons and missile launchers that had been hidden for centuries. The ship had awakened, and it was ready for war. The Xelian ships moved closer to the Intrepid, weapons charged and ready to fire. Commander Vexnar watched with cold amusement as his gunners targeted the old human vessel. Fire at will, he ordered. Bright energy beams shot from the Xelian ships, streaking through space toward the Intrepid. Just before impact, something strange happened. The energy beams curved around the old warship, missing it completely. What happened? Vexnar demanded. Why did we miss? His weapons officer looked confused. Unknown, sir. Our targeting was perfect. Inside the Intrepid's engine room, Jack and Peter watched in amazement as the ship's defensive systems engaged automatically. The force fields around them remained in place, but screens nearby showed what was happening outside. It's deflecting their attacks, Peter said in awe. How is that possible? The ship's AI spoke again. Gravitational defense shields operating at 68% capacity. Enemy weapon signatures analyzed. Adjusting countermeasures. Jack stared at the screens. Gravitational shields. Those were only theoretical in my advanced physics classes. This ship can bend space around itself. The Intrepid's engines hummed louder as more power flowed through its systems. Lights flickered briefly throughout the ship. Warning, the AI announced. Primary weapons systems charging. Target lock acquired on hostile vessels. We have to stop this, Jack said urgently. If this ship destroys those alien craft, it could start an interstellar war. He turned to the nearest console. Computer, I am Lieutenant Jack Howard of Earth Defense Force. Authorization code, Alpha 97 Delta. Override automatic defense protocols. The AI paused before responding. Authorization code recognized. However, override requires captain-level clearance. Do you wish to assume temporary command of this vessel? Jack looked at Peter, who nodded. Yes, I do. Processing request, the AI replied. Temporary command authorization granted. Warning, 5 hostile vessels are preparing for another attack. The force fields around Jack and Peter disappeared. Jack rushed to the main command console. Computer, open a channel to the alien ships. Communications array activated. Channel open. On the Celian command ship, Vexnar was preparing to order another attack when his communication officer interrupted. Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel. Put it through, Vexnar ordered, curious. Jack's voice came through clearly. Attention, unknown vessels. This is Lieutenant Jack Howard of the Earth Defense Force, temporary commander of the U.S. Intrepid. You have fired upon a human military vessel. Please state your intentions immediately. Vexnar clicked his mandibles in amusement. The lone human in a museum piece dares to question me. I am Commander Vexnar of the Celian Empire. We are conducting military exercises in this system. Your presence is irrelevant. Prepare to be destroyed as part of our targeting drills. Jack looked at the tactical display. The alien ships were repositioning for another attack. Computer, what offensive capabilities do we have? This vessel is equipped with phased particle cannons, quantum torpedoes, and the Omega Protocol weapon system. All systems are now at 75% power and rising. Peter moved to another console. Jack, I've found the ship's logs. The Intrepid was designed to fight an entire alien fleet by itself. That's why it was decommissioned. It was too powerful. Outside, the Celian ships fired again. This time, the Intrepid not only deflected the attacks but absorbed some of the energy. Attack energy harvested, the AI reported. Power levels now at 82%. Jack made a quick decision. Computer, target the lead alien vessel's weapon systems only. Minimal force. Fire a warning shot. Acknowledged. Firing phased particle cannon at 10% power. A bright blue beam shot from the Intrepid, striking the Celian command ship with surgical precision. The vessel's main weapon array exploded, leaving the ship damaged but still functional. Commander Vexnar was thrown from his chair as his ship shook violently. Impossible, he hissed. How could that relic do this? All ships, full attack formation. Destroy that human vessel immediately. The 4 remaining Celian ships moved to surround the Intrepid, not realizing they were facing a warship unlike anything they had ever encountered before. The 4 Celian ships surrounded the Intrepid, firing all their weapons at once. Energy beams and explosive projectiles converged on the ancient human warship from all directions. Inside the engine room, warning alarms blared loudly. Multiple impacts detected, the AI announced. Gravitational shields holding at 62% capacity. Minor damage to outer hull sections. Jack gripped the command console tightly. Computer, can we contact Earth Defense Command? Long-range communications are being jammed by enemy vessels. Peter looked at the tactical display. We're outnumbered, but this ship is incredible. Those hits should have destroyed us. Jack nodded. We need to end this quickly before more Celian ships arrive. He studied the controls, trying to understand the unfamiliar systems. Computer, do we have engines capable of movement? Affirmative. Main drives at 89% operational capacity. Secondary maneuvering thrusters fully functional. Good. Plot an evasive course. Let's get some distance from these ships. The Intrepid's massive engines ignited, pushing the enormous warship forward with surprising speed. Despite its size and age, the vessel moved with the agility of a much smaller craft, easily avoiding the Celian ship's attempt to keep it surrounded. Commander Vexnar watched in disbelief as the human Relic outmaneuvered his modern warships. Impossible. That vessel is 3 centuries old. How can it move like that? His tactical officer looked up from his console. Sir, we're detecting unusual energy readings from the human ship. It appears to be learning from our attack patterns. Learning? What nonsense is this? Inside the Intrepid, Jack and Peter had discovered something remarkable about the ship's systems. The computer is adaptive, Peter said, examining the data flowing across his screen. It's analyzing the Celian weapons and tactics and adjusting our defenses automatically. Jack looked at another display showing the ship's internal structure. Throughout the vessel, systems were repairing themselves, rerouting power and optimizing for combat. This isn't just a warship, Jack said with growing understanding. It's something more advanced. The AI spoke, its voice somehow sounding more natural than before. Phase 2 systems now online. Activating neural response grid. Suddenly, the displays around them change, becoming more detailed and responsive. Jack felt a strange sensation, as if the ship itself was waiting for his thoughts. Lieutenant Howard, the AI said, this vessel was designed with an experimental neural interface. Would you like to activate it for better combat control? Jack hesitated. What exactly does that mean? You will be temporarily connected to the ship's systems. Your thoughts will guide its actions more efficiently than verbal commands. Peter looked concerned. Jack, we don't know what that could do to you. Jack watched as the Celian ships regrouped and prepared for another attack. Time was running out. Activate the neural interface, he ordered. A soft blue light emerged from the command console, surrounding Jack. He felt a tingling sensation throughout his body, then a sudden rush of information flooding his mind. He could feel the ship, its systems, its weapons, its damage. It was overwhelming at first, but then became clear and organized. I can sense everything, Jack said in amazement. I know exactly what the ship can do now. Through this connection, Jack understood the Intrepid's true purpose. It wasn't just a warship. It was an experimental platform designed to evolve and adapt to any threat. The ship had been learning and developing for centuries while in hibernation. Outside, the Celian ships launched another coordinated attack. This time, Jack didn't need to give verbal commands. He simply thought about what he wanted the Intrepid to do. The ancient warship responded instantly, releasing a pulse of energy that disrupted the Celian weapons mid-fire. Then it counterattacked, targeting each enemy vessel with precision shots that disabled their engines but didn't destroy the ships. Commander Vexnar stared in shock as his fleet was systematically crippled in less than 30 seconds. Full retreat, he ordered. All ships, emergency jump away from this system. But it was too late. None of the Celian ships could move. They floated helplessly in space, completely at the mercy of the human relic they had mocked just minutes earlier. Jack stood on the command bridge of the Intrepid, connected to the ship through the neural interface. The massive room had automatically powered up after the initial battle, its ancient stations coming to life after centuries of silence. Through the large front viewport, the disabled Celian vessels hung motionless in space. What should we do with them? Peter asked, looking at the alien ships. Jack could feel the Intrepid's weapon systems still ready to fire. With a thought, he could destroy all 5 enemy vessels. But that wasn't the right choice. Computer, open a channel to the lead Celian ship, Jack ordered. Channel open, the AI replied. This is Lieutenant Jack Howard of the Earth Defense Force. Your ships have been disabled but not destroyed. We have no wish for further conflict. After a moment, Commander Vexnar's face appeared on the main screen. The alien looked angry, his scaled skin flushed with dark colors. How is this possible? Vexnar demanded. That vessel should be powerless. It's ancient technology. Jack smiled slightly. It seems you misjudged both our ship and our species, Commander. Now, why did you attack us without provocation? Vexnar clicked his mandibles in frustration. We were sent to test human defenses in preparation for expansion into your territory. The Tselian Empire grows, and your space is next. Peter looked alarmed, but Jack remained calm. Through his connection with the ship, he was accessing long-forgotten files and records. Computer, according to your records, has Earth encountered the Xelians before? Jack asked. Affirmative, the AI responded. First contact with Xelian species occurred 278 years ago. Diplomatic relations were established but later suspended due to territorial disputes. Jack was surprised. That information isn't in our current records. Much historical data was lost during the data purge of 2189, the AI explained. This vessel contains complete archives from before that event. Jack turned his attention back to Vexnar. Commander, it seems our peoples have met before. There are better solutions than war. I suggest we escort you to Earth for proper diplomatic discussions. You think one old ship changes anything? Vexnar hissed. Our main fleet is only days away. Hundreds of vessels, all more powerful than these scouts. Your planet will still fall. As if to confirm his words, the Intrepid sensors detected new energy signatures at the edge of the system. Multiple ships detected entering the system, the AI announced. 15 vessels of Xelian design approaching at high speed. Peter looked worried. Jack, we can't fight that many, even with this ship. Jack wasn't so sure. Through his neural link, he could sense the Intrepid's true capabilities. The ship had only used a fraction of its power in the first battle. Computer, do we have faster-than-light communications that can reach Earth? Jack asked. Affirmative. Quantum entanglement communication system is operational. Send a message to Earth Defense Command. Inform them of the Xelian presence and pending invasion. Request immediate reinforcements. Message sent. The AI confirmed moments later. The approaching Xelian ships formed an attack pattern, spreading out to surround the Intrepid. On screen, Commander Vexnar looked triumphant. Surrender now, human, and perhaps your death will be quick, he said. Jack closed his eyes, focusing on his connection with the ship. He could feel a system deep within the Intrepid, something powerful that had not yet been activated. Computer, what is the Omega Protocol? He asked quietly. Omega Protocol is this vessel's primary weapons system. It was deemed too dangerous for regular deployment and sealed after initial testing. What does it do? The Omega Protocol generates a controlled space-time distortion field that can disable all technology within its radius except for this vessel. It was designed as a last resort against overwhelming enemy forces. Jack opened his eyes, looking at the approaching Xelian fleet. How long until those ships are in weapons range? 4 minutes, 17 seconds, the AI responded. Jack made his decision. Prepare the Omega Protocol. We're not surrendering today. Around them, the Intrepid hummed with growing power as its most secret weapon prepared to activate. The ship that aliens had laughed at was about to show its true strength. The 15 Xelian warships moved closer, their weapons charged and ready. Through the Intrepid's viewports, Jack and Peter could see the sleek, predatory shapes against the blackness of space. Each alien vessel was twice the size of Earth's most modern battleships. Xelian fleet will be in optimal firing range in 2 minutes, the AI announced calmly. Jack felt sweat on his forehead as he remained connected to the ship's neural interface. Computer, status of the Omega Protocol. Omega Protocol at 86% charge. Estimated time to full power, 3 minutes. Peter looked at Jack with concern. We won't last 3 minutes under concentrated fire from all those ships. Jack nodded. We need to buy some time. Through his connection with the ship, he directed power to the engines and defensive systems. The Xelian ships floated helplessly in space, their systems barely functioning after the Omega Protocol's devastating effect. Through the Intrepid's viewports, Jack and Peter watched as the once mighty alien fleet drifted powerlessly. Only minimal life support remained active on the enemy vessels. What just happened? Peter asked, still stunned by what they had witnessed. Jack, still connected to the ship's neural interface, understood what the Omega Protocol had done. It created a field that disrupts advanced technology. Their ships are designed with integrated systems. When one part failed, everything failed. And why aren't we affected? Peter gestured to the Intrepid's functioning systems. This ship was built to withstand the effect, Jack explained. That's why it was so revolutionary, and why it was hidden away. A weapon that powerful would scare even our allies. The neural interface showed Jack that the Intrepid had suffered significant damage during the battle. Several decks were exposed to space, and the power systems were strained from activating the Omega Protocol. But the ship's self-repair systems were already at work, sealing breaches and rerouting power. Lieutenant Howard, the AI said, I am receiving a transmission from Earth Defense Command. They detected our quantum communication and have dispatched a response fleet. Estimated arrival time, 40 minutes. Jack nodded. Open a channel to Admiral Crix's ship. On the main screen, the Xelian Admiral appeared. The lighting on his bridge was dim, emergency systems providing only the basics. Crix looked both angry and afraid. What have you done to my fleet? He demanded. We've disabled your ships temporarily, Jack replied calmly. Your crews are safe, but you won't be attacking anyone for a while. Earth forces will arrive soon to take you into custody. Crix hissed. This is not over, human. The Xelian Empire spans dozens of star systems. We will not forget this defeat. It doesn't have to be a defeat, Jack said. It could be the beginning of peace. Your empire is vast, yes, but now you know that humanity isn't defenseless. We can fight if necessary, but we'd rather talk. For a long moment, Crix was silent. Then he nodded slowly. Perhaps discussions could be arranged. When our main fleet learns what happened here, they will want revenge. But I could convince them otherwise. That would be wise, Jack agreed. The communication ended, and Jack finally disconnected from the neural interface. The sensation was strange, like losing a sense he hadn't known he had. He felt smaller, limited to just his own body again. Earth Defense Fleet arriving, the AI announced some time later. 3 human battleships appeared at the edge of the system, approaching quickly. Admiral Helen Clark of the Earth Defense Force could hardly believe the report in front of her. One ancient warship had defeated 20 Xelian vessels, including their most advanced battlecruisers. Lieutenant Howard, she said when communication was established, the President himself wants to speak with you. You've single-handedly prevented what could have been a devastating war. Jack shook his head. It wasn't me, Admiral. It was this ship. The Intrepid protected humanity just as it was designed to do centuries ago. In the days that followed, Earth officials boarded the Intrepid to study its systems. Engineers and scientists were amazed by the advanced technology that had been forgotten for generations. The ship contained innovations that would change human spaceflight forever. The Xelians agreed to peace talks, impressed by humanity's hidden strength. What began as an invasion ended as the start of a cautious alliance. 1 month later, Jack stood in the newly restored bridge of the Intrepid. The ship had been fully repaired and upgraded. No longer a forgotten relic, it was now the flagship of Earth's defense fleet. Ready to depart, Captain Howard? Peter asked from his station. He had been promoted to first officer after their adventure. Jack smiled, placing his hand on the command console. The neural interface connected immediately, and he felt the ship's systems come alive around him. The Intrepid is ready, Jack replied, both with his voice and through his thoughts to the ship. Let's show the galaxy what humanity can do. As the ancient warship moved forward with new purpose, Jack knew that they had not just saved Earth from one threat. They had rediscovered something important: the ingenuity and foresight of those who had come before them. The ship that aliens had laughed at as a relic had become humanity's greatest guardian.